Hey y'all, Unbreakable here. Time for another in our series, Ask Unbreakable Anything. Disclaimer. I do not, nor will I ever claim to be an expert, a mental health professional, or a know-it-all. I am simply a very, very vocal survivor. I share my story, my experience, my strength, my hope. I share my ups, my downs, my struggles, what I've overcome, what I have learned. I share me. So the question that was presented was, how and where do I find my soulmate? It's a good one. I'm 52, spent most of my life in 2 marriages, but I've dated here and there. And since getting out almost 4 years ago, I have dated. And you see articles and videos and people talking about, go to the grocery store, go to church, go to mixers and events and get yourself out there. You hear all of these suggestions on, where the grocery store was always my favorite. That was the one that I always heard. And while all of these are great suggestions, and I'm not discrediting any of them, there's something a little further than just where to go and how to find it. I've been on and off dating apps over the last couple of years. And, they're all the same thing. Ultimately, it doesn't matter which one you go on. They're all pretty much the same. And it takes time and work and effort to actually, kind of weed through and, pre-screen and, what's your favorite color? Where were you born? How many siblings? All of that stuff, which irritates the heck out of me. But I have met some really amazing men through dating apps. Some who have ended up becoming some of my dearest friends. But I had to put myself out there. See, I get really impatient with the whole mundane back and forth. What's your favorite color? What's your birthday? Where do you live? What do you do for work? I get so impatient with it. So as I said, I've been on and off dating apps over the years. I just don't have the tolerance level sometimes to deal with all of that. I want to know who the person is. I want to know the real. I want to have an actual conversation with you. If I ask you to tell me about yourself and you respond with, what do you want to know? Well, dude, I want to know if you can carry on an adult exchange and, great conversation, and you're not shy or hiding behind something. So you have to wait for somebody to prompt you. Beside the point. What I have learned on how and where do I find my soulmate? I know you've heard it said, you got to stop looking. In one aspect, I agree with that. However, in the other aspect, I don't. Because, see, I say it all the time that healing begins with us, right? If I don't know how to treat myself well and love myself and take care of myself and lift myself up and empower myself and educate myself and expand my knowledge and grow physically, emotionally, cognitively, spiritually, whatever. If I don't do any of those things, how can I expect anyone else to? If I don't know how to treat myself well, how can I expect somebody else to treat me well? If I am in a state of pure loneliness or desperation or feelings of need, I'm at my weakest. And if I'm at my weakest, and I'm trying to go out there and meet someone, find my soulmate, I am a target. I'm completely a target. I am completely wide open. Like, here I am. Take advantage of me, lie to me. If I'm not recognizing my value and my worth, how can I expect anyone else to? If I'm lowering my standards, how can I expect to get a healthy relationship, which is my ultimate goal? If I don't love me, how can anyone else love me? Last year, I think I posted a video on dating yourself. And you know, that sounds so funny, right? Or cliche, or yeah, okay, unbreakable, whatever. But the reality in that is so imperative. See, I didn't love myself for the majority of my life. I didn't know my value. I didn't know my worth because I had been told so many times by so many different people in my life that I had no value, that I had no worth. I was worthless, that I was lucky that they even paid me attention, that I needed to be, just swept off my feet because here's this person who's just giving me some attention and I should feel so honored and blessed. It doesn't work that way. See, I'm the prize. I'm the prize. You're the prize. And until you realize that, until you embrace that, until you accept that, until you know it with everything that you are, you will find yourself settling. You will find yourself back in toxic relationships, one after the other, after the other. Same exact person with just a different face. If we're not healed, or at least working on our healing, we're going to attract unhealed people. We're going to attract toxic people. Narcissists, toxic people, they've got a nose on them like a search dog or a drug dog or any of those dogs who go and find things that people are looking for. They have a nose on them and they can smell it. They can sniff us out. If our self-esteem is low, oh boy, can they see it. If we don't know our value, oh boy, they can pinpoint it. If we put ourselves down, if we're shy, if we're quiet, if we're meek, because we don't know who we are, because we're not comfortable in our own skin, because I don't know if I'm enough. I don't know if I'm pretty enough. I don't know if I'm thin enough. I don't know if I'm thick enough. I don't know if I'm smart enough. I don't know if I'm talented enough. I don't know if I'm enough. We are huge targets. I've dated here and there since I got out almost 4 years ago. And early on, it was way too early. Way too early. Eyes wide shut. I hadn't begun to heal. I hadn't begun to recognize exactly who I am, what my talents were, what my gifts were, what I was as a person, who I was as a person, what I had to offer, not only a relationship, but the world, my loved ones, the people around me. I didn't know what I had to offer. I thought I had nothing. I still hid behind that smile, behind that mask. We talk about narcissists wear masks, but when we start getting honest with ourselves, we start to realize that we've worn masks too. I wore that mask so long. That smile, everything's wonderful. Don't let them know what's going on. To the outside world, my life and my relationship looked like a fairy tale. We had everything. Vehicles, houses, went on a few trips. All the kids were doing great jobs. From the outside, it looked amazing. And nobody knew, because I had learned to wear that mask of everything's fine, everything's great, my life is fabulous. I learned to wear that mask when I was a child. And I didn't learn how to take that mask off until just a few years ago. When we don't know who we are, when we don't love ourselves, when we can't find our own happiness and joy within ourselves, we get stuck in this pattern of looking to other people to validate us, to validate our worth, to tell us that we're enough, to tell us that we're special and we're the love of their life. We look to other people for our happiness and our joy and our validation. And yet none of it is their job. See, if I'm not happy myself, personally, by myself, within myself, I can't expect someone else to make me happy. If I don't feel like I'm enough, I can't expect someone to make me feel like I'm enough or tell me that I'm enough. We have to believe these things within our own self. I have to have my own happiness, my own joy, my own peace. I can't rely on someone else to bring me those things, to give me those things. That's what's called a codependent relationship. And that's not healthy. If I don't know who I am, nobody else can tell me who that is. If I'm not happy and at peace with my own soul, my own spirit, my own identity, I'm never going to find it in another individual. Now, I can hear some of you saying, oh, but I found my soulmate, or, oh, but, this person, this, and this person, that. Yeah. Get it. There are people who come into our lives who add value to our already valuable life. But it's in recognizing that you are already valuable with or without someone. You are already enough. Whether you have a ring on your finger or a person on your arm, you are already enough. And until you start finding that, embracing that, living that, you're going to continue searching in other people for it. And other people are never going to be able to fulfill that for you. So while it may sound cliche, I can promise you from personal experience, it is so true. How and where do I find my soulmate? I look in the mirror. I look in the mirror. That's the one person who will never let me down. That is the one person who recognizes my value and my worth and my capabilities and my strengths and my weaknesses. That's the one person who loves me, is me. And let me tell you, the more I have loved myself and found out exactly who I am and what I love and what my capabilities and my talents and my beliefs and my hopes and my dreams are, the more that I get to know me and embrace that and love that, boy, let me tell you, in the dating world, they weed themselves out. I don't have to put in a whole lot of work when I decide to go out on a date because they weed themselves out. And let me tell you, the ones who are so toxic that they see this strong, independent person who has value and has worth and knows that they do. Oh, you come to recognize the ones who just want to put that out, just want to stifle it, just want to burn your flame out. You start to recognize the toxic ones right off the bat. Right off the bat. First dates, I do coffee. That's it. That's all you get. Because I can give you 15 minutes or I can give you an hour, 2 hours. And that 15 minutes, I've got a pretty good idea of who you are. I'm not going to know everything. We're not going to know everything on a first date. Of course not. But the higher your standards are, the more you know yourself, the more that you recognize and you just exude your worth and your value, more times than not, they tell on their own selves. It's pretty easy. So the question, how and where do you find your soulmate? Look in the mirror. The more you love yourself, the less desperate you'll be, the less lonely you'll be. You're still going to have lonely moments. Trust, you're still going to have lonely moments. You're still going to have sad moments. You're still going to have these moments where, God, I just want somebody good in my life. You're going to have those moments. Maybe you'll be down for a little while, and that's okay. But then you'll remember who you are, what you have to offer. You'll remember what you bring to the table. And you'll be grateful that you're not wasting your time on those who don't deserve your time. It all begins with you. What's your next question for Ask Unbreakable Anything? Y'all go be unbreakable.